Get you someone you trust and someone who can help you think like a director. That's the thing that has been the most consistent for me. I have the same person working with me.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Talent Agent Talk, where we are bringing you educational lessons and real life stories behind the scenes of TV and film. I'm your host and a talent agent, Jason Lockhart, and today our guest is Tracey Bonner.
Hey, what's up?
Hey
Thank you for
Tracey,
having me.
thanks for being here.
Awesome.
I love that you're part of the Get Seen world. I've heard so many
Yes.
good things about you, not just from Jesse, but like from actors that I rep and people that you mentor.
Yeah.
And I know that you're having a really positive effect on a lot of people in this community and probably beyond.
I hope so.
I know
hope
so.
so because I know I needed it in my early stages of my career. And even now, I have mentors. So I think it's important.
It is. And do you feel like sometimes by teaching or mentoring, it's actually helping you as an actress
It
too?
does. It keeps me on my toes. I'm like, oh, I just told this person to update their resume. Let me go update mine. Let me go look at my reel. Let me take a workshop. This person is having a workshop. Let me get in
Right.
front of them. I haven't seen them in a while. Put my face out there. So
I love that because
Yeah.
as you're verbalizing it, it's almost like a reminder for yourself.
constant reminder that we are always working and always learning, right?
I think the best are.
I mean, you should. You're
Yeah.
never too old in the game to learn something new. So I teach that to my students and my mentors as well. You should always be a student of your craft. The moment you're no longer a student, I think it's time to find something else to do.
Yeah, or retire.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very similar to athletes.
Yeah.
I think athletes that work really, really hard, want to learn and grow and be better, they're better next year than they were the previous year.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Huge goals and work toward them.
Absolutely.
Speaking of huge goals,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty freaking impressive that you were a major role on 2 shows at the exact same time.
Oh, let's talk about
So
it.
if we can talk about Swagger and Raising Dion at the same time.
Yeah.
So which one did you book first?
So I booked Swagger first, and interesting point. I had screen tested for the lead mom on Swagger before I had booked this role. I think it was like a year before this role came about. And I was excited to just be in a space where I was in front of a legend for me. Reggie Bythewood is just an amazing director, writer. So I really wanted to be on this show. So when this opportunity presented itself, I booked it and ended up in Richmond during the pandemic and got a call back, got a Zoom call back for Raising Dion at the same time. And when I booked that role, I was like, this is exciting, waiting around to hear what's going on. And then I get a call from the producer who said, hey, you had a screen test today. Where are you? And I didn't know I had a screen test. And this was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I told him I'm on my way. He said, okay, we'll move your screen test to tomorrow. And I need you here on time. Got there, did the screen test. And what I love about this opportunity is that I was working with someone that I'd previously worked with on another show. And the cutting room floor, guys, is a real thing. I tell my actors all the time, don't get too caught up on the cutting room floor stuff because you never know what kind of relationship you can build with producers, directors. And the director of Queen of the South, Darren Grant, was also the EP on Raising Dion and director of that episode. So I had built a great relationship with him from Queen of the South, even though my episodes didn't air. I felt like I built a good rapport with him. So it was really good. Once I saw him in the callback, I was like, oh, we speak the same language. He gave me some, adjustments, and I was able to make those adjustments, and I felt really good about it. But get to the screen test, and I had to get back on the road like during rush hour. And get back to Swagger because that was during the time we were doing all that COVID testing. And so
Every few days.
yeah. And so I had to do it. And in the moment, it felt like, am I going to make it? Like, this is overwhelming for me. Like, am I going to be able to produce the kind of quality work that I normally would. I felt like I was stressed out. But even in those moments, you have to suck it up and bring your best self to the gig. You have to do it. No matter how stressed out you are, no matter how overwhelmed it is, you have to figure out a way to make it happen. And
Are there any
so,
lifestyle habits that you have that make you healthier, that make you more positive, that helped you get through this challenging kind of a process?
well, not during that time. I have a routine now. I have a therapist and I do meditation in the morning. I think that experience, though, made me see how important I did need
Yes.
a routine where I could kind of woosah and figure out how to balance my emotions and my feelings. Get you a therapist. I want to say that, or someone that you trust that can talk you off the ledge. Because for me, I was like, how am I gonna do this? And I was afraid to talk to my agent because I didn't. She was doing the best she could at that time.
Agents are not therapists.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't overwhelm her either. So how can I work through this? So I think that experience is what prompted me to start this routine.
Interesting. Would you say that there's anything from either of those auditions or anything consistent in your auditions that has led to bookings for you? Because you're always working. So, like, is there anything specific that you feel is part of your process that continuously works?
Yes, it's a couple things. My reader is the same reader most of the time. I have a couple of people that I really depend on. And it's important to me to have the same person because we have a way of speaking to one another. He understands what I'm looking for because I've kind of coached him over the years what to look for. We rehearse. And also when we feel like we, have a good take, or even if the take isn't as strong, we watch it together. I don't depend on just my eye when I'm looking at the playback. I want to know, did I miss beats? Did I rush a transition? Is the prop too prominent in this, in the scene? What am I doing? Am I making any mistakes? Am I actually creating an arc for the scene? That's important for me. So I think, and I tell this to my students all the time, get you someone you trust and someone who can help you think like a director. That's the thing that has been the most consistent for me. I have the same person working with me, and it's work.
Hey, are you a parent of a young actor? Then you're going to want to pay attention to this because Get Seen Studios has what we call our Rising Star program. This program is incredible. It is a monthly program that puts you in front of an industry pro every single month and focuses on what a young actor needs to be focusing on, which is auditions. So every single month, we focus on either theatrical auditions or commercial auditions so they can be set up for success when they get an agent, or if they already have an agent, to really succeed at these auditions and even begin to make money at this. So we bring in different industry pros every single month and agents and casting directors and then work on those auditions. So if this sounds like something that you would like to get your child or a friend that has a child involved in, all you need to do is email risingstar@getseenstudios.com and we will let you try your first month for just $1 a class. That's right, only $1 a class. All you got to do is email us and we will get you all set up and ready to go to improve those auditions and then also get in front of those industry pros because we are Get Seen. Thanks for watching.
I love that you said think like a director too.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I was literally talking about earlier today, that like when you get a self-tape, you're the director unless you hire one.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've turned in that tape, and I've heard other people say this, I think Eric Goins has said it, I think Jesse's said it, once that tape has gone out, you're not the director anymore. And if you book it, you're definitely not the director.
Okay.
So if you like the ability to have creative control, you get to have creative control with every single audition, and then watch it back and decide if you need another take. Was the story there? Was it clear? Were there distractions? Like you said, the prop? That's great.
Yeah,
That's great info.
Absolutely. I think for me, and I say this all the time, we are more than just actors. We
have
are
to
the
be in
light.
2025.
Yeah, we're
You
the
have to
lighting
be.
designer. We are the set designer.
The
We're
editor.
props. We are the editors. And that was the thing for me that was the most challenging. And I said, I'm going to conquer this. I got on iMovie,
It wasn't like that 20 years ago. You just audition.
At
You show
all.
up with a
You-
headshot in person, go in the room, do your thing.
and that's it. I'm on Power Director. I have all kinds of apps that I stay up. I tell people this too. When it's something that is challenging for you, dedicate 30 minutes to an hour a day doing that thing. For me, editing was the most important thing. Now I can do it in my sleep, but I would do it before I went to bed every night. I would take my old auditions and I would teach myself how to edit. I'm not the best editor. I can't do a film or anything like that, but at least I know how to frame and move, the frame from right to left, up, down. I know how to change the exposure. If the
You taught
lighting is
yourself.
yeah, that's important. We are not just actors.
Well, I think those small goals lead to the bigger goals. You're
Absolutely.
like, I need to get through these small goals so that the big goals happen.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, your competition will. Mm-hmm. But it just goes to show that you're like adamant about beating your competition. So you're going to learn and adapt to whatever you need to stay ahead of the race.
Okay, so I'll tell you this: the competition. I have some really great friends who are series regulars, and I've even taped them before, and I'm constantly thinking, what would they have done? How would they do their audition? Oh, I remember when they did this. This is what makes their audition strong. This is what makes their auditions competitive. I need to be auditioning in that same way.
Right? You can learn just as much watching success as you can from learning from failures.
Absolutely.
All day long.
Absolutely. And it gives me something to aspire to. So, yeah.
I love studying athletes and watching what they do. And so shows like quarterback and wide receiver and Hard Knocks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I love the behind the scenes of watching what these athletes do and then kind of gravitating toward who do I idolize the most? And what is their work ethic?
Absolutely.
What's their home life like? Like, how do they choose to spend the minutes of their day? And it's like, I want to chase the guys winning the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
It's discipline though. This
so
is a
much
sport.
discipline.
This is a sport.
That's why I love theater too.
Oh, me too.
Really, you have a big theater background?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So much respect for
started,
the discipline in theater.
Yeah, I have an MFA in acting from the theater school at DePaul University. So, I got my start in Chicago doing storefront theater, and
Every single day.
yeah. And most recently I did Intimate Apparel out at Arizona Theater Company, and before that I did Tony Stone at the Goodman Theater in Chicago, and it is every day. It requires some kind of athleticism of the brain
And the body.
and the body. I mean, I would leave there feeling like, why am I exhausted? It is because it requires so much discipline to stay focused. And all these people are depending on you, in this space. But I also love theater because it's collaborative too. It is one of the times that I really get to be the most collaborative with everyone who's a part of the process. And so, yeah, if you can do theater, I think Denzel has a interview out right now. Like, theater is where you learn how to act,
I definitely think it's where you learn discipline as an
Oh,
actor.
yeah, absolutely.
You got to show up every day on time. You got to be quiet when you got to be quiet. You got to do your thing when it's your time. You got to give the technical all of the time that they need and the respect that they need. I mean, you show up for that cue to cue, and that's not about you.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Nope. And then you got to live that story every day.
Every day.
And sometimes the story is over the course of years, and it's like you're living through years, through all these emotions for the sake of other people's ticket price.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Would you say, last kind of question here, maybe not the last one, but I love that you have this theater background. Between these two projects, between Swagger and Raising Dion, did you feel either of them kind of became that collaborative family feel because you were on them for a while?
Raising Dion, absolutely. I was in 6 out of the 8 episodes. And so I was able to make closer connections with my directors I wasn't just there one day and then go home. I was there several days for the episode. And so it gave me the collaboration I needed. And I think that's where I kind of gave myself permission to start asking questions, you know, asking the director, asking the writer, can I try this? Or, how would you feel if I did this? Or what are your thoughts about this scene? Or what's your vision? I don't think actors activate their voice enough because they're kind of scared.
Of course.
They don't know.
It looks so big and expensive.
Yeah, they don't know that they can have that kind of rapport with the directors or writers.
But after so much time together, you realize everyone's just human, showing up to
Absolutely.
work every day.
That's it.
So your confidence gets more comfortable.
Absolutely.
But it shouldn't take so many days, I think.
No, it shouldn't. But I mean, when you're just coming to a show for one day, you don't really get that opportunity.
You don't
Or if
have
you're
the
just
human
shooting one
vibe.
scene, it's kind of hard to say, hey, what am I doing in this moment? But I will say this, don't be afraid to. If you need clarification, don't be afraid to ask, because this is your shot, right?
Especially if it's going to make their project better.
Absolutely.
Better, safer, more efficient. If you've got a
Absolutely.
long walk you got to do, whatever it may be, like if you want to make sure you're hitting your marks, where's the camera?
Yeah.
Like, if your questions are about making their project better, ask them.
Yes, please.
Last question.
Okay. What is it?
You got a dream role that you haven't done?
Yes, I do. Claire Huxtable was my favorite. Okay. And so I would love to be on a long sitcom. We don't get a lot of sitcoms here in Atlanta. So I would love to be on a sitcom playing somebody's mama. I don't have kids, but I'm very nurturing. And I idolized Felicia Rashad, growing up. And
She was everybody's mom.
Oh man, the power that she had, but also the sincerity and the nurturing spirit that she had. So I would love to be on a sitcom.
I hope that happens.
I'm
for
funny,
you.
y'all.
I really do. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you're
Oh,
busy.
thank you
It's
for
just
having
great
me.
to have you here. And as a gift for
Oh.
being here,
We got a gift.
there's something in this bag. Don't look inside, but reach in and pull one out, please. You've won a free car.
Let's see. Oh
What'd you
my
get?
goodness! Listen, my dad collects cars, y'all.
What'd you get?
I got this. I don't know what it is.
You got a Tesla.
I got a Tesla. Okay, I got to do this.
You know
A
you're gonna have to put gas in that
Model
thing.
Model S,
Yeah, that's a sexy one.
and I'm
That's
keeping
the
it
S
in
of
the box.
sexy. Well, then it will retain its value.
You don't think so?
It will.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, it
Okay,
should. It
I was
should.
about to
Maybe
say,
go up.
I'm a collector of toys, so
Really? Me
yeah,
too.
I collected Barbies all my life. I still have them. So
Do you have the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Barbie?
I don't. All of mine were the Christmas
Okay.
Christmas Barbies, and I have the Wizard of Oz series. I was a huge Wizard of Oz fan, so
I'm
yeah.
gonna have to talk with you offline about where to find some cool ones.
Okay.
I know about this stuff a little
Okay,
bit.
please, because I'm ready to sell now.
All right.
Yeah, I am. So
Good
let's
to know.
talk.
Listeners, maybe check out some of the YouTube comments here in case you're in the market for some rare Barbies.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
To our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you got something awesome out of today. And thank you to Jesse Malinowski and Get Seen for producing our show. And if you like our show and have a story of your own that you think is a good booking story with a lesson, you can pitch it directly to us. The email is talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Again, that is talentagenttalk@gmail.com. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you.
Thank you.